he has gone. So we're gonna be making this one. We're gonna have whatever draggable. You see. So when this activates, you see this background becomes, and then we can drag. Right. Again, I'm gonna link. Everything is in here. So this is the original code. This is the vanilla JavaScript code. I got it off Johnny. So I just converted it into React, and I removed some stuff which I think they were unnecessary there, to be honest with you. And I also fixed his problem on the mobile screen, because if you use his slider on the mobile, it's not going to work, whereas my one works on the mobile as well. And the main problem with his one is he didn't handle the mobile correctly. Right, so if you do it his way, page X is going to be not assigned number. As a result, everything collapses. Right, so you need to basically, when you're doing touch events, you need to use e touches array 0 and then page X. But you'll see once we get there. Again, I'm going to link this in the description below. Use this one. That's the one I'm going to be coding right now. Right now, just heads up, it's not for beginners. This is for advanced, kind of like, you need to understand React on not junior, above mid-level. So this is some advanced stuff, right? So it's going to be very complex, so my apologies in advance for that, okay? Alright, so let's get started. I need to reset. I need to reset this component real quick. So we start with a completely blank, basically, slate. Right. I'm not gonna delete the. We're not gonna be using use memo in here. Okay, so here we are, completely blank component. We only have HR line. I'll just remove it as well. Okay, so the first thing we want to do, we want to create maybe a container. So we can see this thing. Okay, like I like to do that because it's then visually present, you know. Let's do height, I don't know, 500 pixels, right? Okay, so now we have a container. What I'm gonna put into it now? Container will have probably, let's flex position. So honestly, do we need this? Okay, H1, draggable, right? I don't know, honestly, do we need this in here? Whatever, let's just... Now, I'd say we probably do need this because... you see, because of... if I do it without the borders and all this positioning, it's gonna get it'll be very hard to see it, you know, so that's why I do this. Alright, so let's put horizontal line. Actually, we don't need horizontal line. Now, okay, so now we need main code. So this is like the main code, right? So, okay, so we need div, and we call this class name. Whoops, I screwed up a little bit. And we're gonna call this items. Well, what did I call it? Items holder, right? Yeah, items container. So items container. So this will be the thing that's going to be holding the so this is going to be the thing that's going to be holding the items, right? So let's make it, I don't know, let's make it let's do width, I don't know, let's do 300 pixels, and then do height 300 pixels, let's do as well. And padding, let's do 50 pixels like this, okay. Actually, let's make it wider. Maybe let's do 600 pixels. Maybe even more, let's do 900 pixels, okay. Yeah. Okay. So now we need to add items into this thing. Right? So I'm gonna go here. And I'm gonna copy and paste these items in here. They already have a class, which is item, okay? Alright, so we're gonna copy and paste them in here. Actually, let's do width 100%, honestly. Probably better in here. Yeah. So this is what it should look like right now. 25 items. So now we need to position these items this way. So this is the first challenge, right? The way to do that is we need to put like the wrap or something like this. So you go to how to, right? You see parent container must have this white space, no wrap. And then otherwise it's not going to work, right? So this item container is the parent, right? So we put parent in here. Every time I refer to parent, we're talking about item container. So this must go like this. Okay, so next thing we need item, right? We need to do what's called display, I think, inline flex, like this, flex, like this. Okay, so now you see, now it aligned this way. So now we just have to give it height and width per item, and then it will work, right? So now let's do height. So height, let's do 200 pixels, right? Because we gave padding and height in here, right? So 200 will fit perfectly. And then width, let's do, I don't know, 200 pixels as well. So it's nice squares, right? Okay, let's put a border, 1 pixel solid, and let's make them, I don't know, black. Doesn't matter. Makes no difference. Okay, so this is what this should look like at this stage. Now they're overflowing. You see they're overflowing, which is exactly what we need. We need it for now. Okay, so let's maybe give them a background. I don't know, let's do gray. Oh god, it looks disgusting, but whatever. Anyway, I'm not really gonna focus too much on decoration here, but like you can So that's what they look like. Okay, this is what they are. So now our idea is now to move them, be like have the ability to move them around, right? So the first thing you need to do is you need to make sure, this is very, very important. If you don't have this overflow either scroll or hidden, right? Now, if you don't have this overflow, it's not going to work. Like this property, if you don't have, the whole thing is gonna collapse. It's not gonna work. Let's keep on scroll for now, and then we'll convert that into hidden, because the final step is this will be hidden. All right. Okay. So now let's do. Now let's do the logic, right? Logic is the hardest, right? So the first thing you need is you need to add is down, set is down state, right? So this state is going to control, basically, like, look, when you're going to be moving the mouse in here, when you're going to be holding the mouse and moving, you are technically using on mouse move event, right? Now this function is going to trigger without is down. It's going to trigger every time you move the mouse in this container, and that's not what we want. So the way to prevent this function from triggering non-stop when you move the mouse is to have is down effect, right? Is down. The second reason why we have this is we want to control class which is called active. Okay, I call it active class. You call it whatever the hell you want, right? And this will add a background to the item container. Let's say anything you want. Like this class will tell the user that he's in the moving phase of, like right now he's in, let's say, phase 1 where he's not doing anything, right? And then when he clicks, we need to tell him that he's now in the phase where he can move these elements, right? So the way we do that is, one way is we put the background color, let's say to, I don't know, let's do orange or light coral, there you go. Or light blue. Light blue. There you go, right? And second, let's do cursor. Grabbing. Alright, so container will be cursor grab and then cursor grabbing. Okay, so you see, so this tells the user he can do something with these items, right? Okay, so the next thing we need to create are functions, probably. So functions, function, handle mouse down. Okay, so the first thing we do in the mouse down is we set is down to true. So as soon as he clicks, we activate is down to true, right? Okay. So here we do on mouse down equals E handle mouse down E, like this. So now we'll have this. Oh yeah, we need to add the. So now we need to add class control. So when this becomes true, active class is being added. We're gonna use a framework called import class names from class names. Now you don't really need this framework, but I use it all the time because it basically allows you to conditionally apply states. Well, conditionally apply classes based on the state. Now you can do it without it, but I prefer to do it. It takes like 5 minutes to learn. I highly recommend learning it. Like literally just stop now, go on some kind of, I don't know, your own playground where you train and learn how class names works. It's npm class names, there you go. This one here. It's piss easy. It's beyond easy. Just read through it and you will immediately get how it works. It's just like it's just a superior substitute to doing it manually, you know? So you see, we are applying this class by default, and now we want to create a class that is triggered when state is true. Okay, so this is the class, and this is the state. Now it automatically removes the curly thingies, but like it's just, that's the way it is, you know. My apologies for this. So now you see, if isDown is true, it activates this class. If it's not true, it doesn't activate this class. That's it. You can do it without class names, of course, but I just prefer to do it this way. Just when you have a lot of switches, like class names is just a lifesaver, you see? Okay. So now look, you see? So we have effect, as soon as mouse down, he enters, the user enters into the move zone, right? So now he can move. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is add 2 more events, which is on mouse up, we want to set isDown to, we want to basically exit this mode. isDown is like the mode where the user can interact with this thing. So we want to disable it. And the second condition is when the mouse is left, when he leaves the container, this container here, right? So the way we do that is on mouse up equals e. Well, we don't need e in here. We don't need event. So this will be set isDown to false, like this. And then the second one is on mouse leave. We do the same thing, which is set isDown to false, like this. Now I'll put mouse events in here, because we're gonna have also mobile phone touch events. So we're just gonna separate mouse events for now. Alright, so now this should work, right? So we click, we're holding, I'm releasing, you see? Or if I leave. Okay, cool. Let me just get more of my super drink. It's just Fanta with no sugar, basically. Okay, so what are we doing next? Okay, so next thing we need is we need to capture the original click of a button. So where was the mouse on the first click? So const what are we gonna call it? So let me just call it X, maybe. No. Start X, yeah. Start X set start. Okay, so we need to set start X to e page X. All right. Now, e page X is going to capture where I'm clicking, right? So if I click here, it will capture basically the offset from here, from left offset, right? But I want to capture inside the container, right? So we need to add container offset. We basically need to minus container offset, right? That's what we need to do. I know it's a little bit confusing, but I mean, it's like that's what you have to do. So we want to basically, this container here, we want to minus from where you clicked all of this, right? And the way we do that is we need to find the offset. So how many pixels does this occupy? I know it's very confusing, but you're gonna have to experiment with this yourself. Otherwise you're gonna get confused. Okay, so to do that we need to items container, use ref. You can use jQuery, but I mean we are in React. You can also use what is it called? Document query selector. You can also use, but I mean we're in React, so let's just use React. So this is gonna be ref. So now this element here is captured. So now we take this current dot left. I think it's offset left or something like this. Yeah, offset left. So this number here is going to be basically equal to whatever which is in here. You see this like padding or margins or whatever. Oh my god. Like if you're confused, maybe leave a description below and I'll answer. But I had to like sit for the whole day and experiment and figure out what each element actually does. So, like it's just programming. Okay. So this tells us where in the container the mouse has been clicked, right? Okay. Now the next thing we need to do, what do we need to do next? Yeah, so we need to add const, but honestly, like you don't really need to understand how it works. Because, I mean, you can just treat it as a framework and just follow step by step. And it will work as well. Because I kind of... This guy, Johnny, has already figured out logic. And I kind of just backward engineer it. So if you just follow step by step, it will work. So we're creating state to capture current scroll of the container, right? Because if you don't capture it and you just use current scroll as a state, it's gonna start behaving like crazy, because on every re-render it's going to start changing, and every mouse movement is going to start changing. So that's why you have to capture it this way. So we're capturing items, container, current, scroll, left. And then final state we need is mouse moved. Mouse moved. Set state, mouse moved. Okay, so this one captures the difference between, so you see, we're gonna have one function where you first click and it will capture where the mouse is positioned, right, inside the container. And then on mouse move, we're going to capture current position of the mouse. Then current position of the mouse minus starting position of the mouse will tell you how much mouse was moved. Now, but this value is gonna be retained over re-renders, right? So we need to refresh it every time the client clicks in the container, right? So we need to basically set it in here to 0. Now you can. I tried to set it to 0 in here, like on mouse up, but it messed up my. We can probably do it in there. To be honest with you, we can probably do it in here. But I just did it in here. But basically, every time you stop the interaction, you have to reset it to 0. Otherwise, if the value retains, it's gonna just keep adding to the scroll. That's kind of how it's going to behave. So it's not good, basically. Okay, dogs. So next we need to create on mouse move event, and then handle mouse move E. So now we need to create a function, handle mouse move E. Okay, so the first thing we do is we check if is down is false. We want to exit straight away, because remember, mouse move will trigger. So right now mouse move is activated, so we want to exit, right? Let me just console log so you'll see. Console log active, right? So you see, every time he moves the mouse in here, this function technically gets triggered. So we need to avoid that, right? So we want to trigger this function only when there is when he clicked and he wants to interact. So basically, we only want this function to work when this happens, and this happens when is down is true. Oh, it's still console logging. I forgot to save. Whoops. Whoopsie, whoopsie, whoopsie. Okay. So now we need to capture basically how much did the client move his mouse. So current position of the mouse when it's being moved, right? So we need to create const current mouse position inside container. I'm just writing the same name as in the docs. Well, the ones I provided, but like you can call it current mouse position when moved. Like, but I'll just copy the. You can name this stuff whatever you want, because once you figure out logic, then you're gonna be okay. So it's going to be e page x minus. Again, we need to. It's basically copy of this here. We can actually just copy and paste it, because this is original click, and this is current position when mouse is moved. Okay, so now we need to capture mouse moved. Do you remember I talked about mouse moved? So mouse moved is going to be this value here, which is the one that we moved, minus original position, which is start x. And that's it, we're almost there. And then finally we need to create a use effect that will trigger. What is it going to trigger? Yeah. So is down, start x is changed, scroll left state. Honestly, we don't probably need that many in here, but whatever, let's just put them in just in case. Mouse moved. Because in theory, it should only work when with these two. Because we don't really need this. I don't really think we need this too, honestly. Because, okay, is down, captures, okay, start X. Yeah, we completely don't need them in here. So now, items, container, current, scroll left will be equal to scroll left state, right? So it's going to be this minus how much did the client move, which is mouse moved. And then that's it. That's kind of that's pretty much it. Right? So oh yeah, you see you have this issue where you have highlighting of the text and all that jazz. So to get rid of it, you need to put in here, I have it in my notes, it's gonna be it should be in the CSS. Yeah, user select none. So when you put this into the container, it will stop. You see now there is no highlights, because user cannot select anything inside of this container. He can only use you see, like if he tries to copy code like 04 text, he cannot do that because he can only do mouse events. Okay, so this is done. Overflow we're gonna set to hidden. So now it moves like this. Alright, I think that's about it, right? Yeah. So that's done. Overflow hidden done. Okay, so one problem you're gonna have is that if you swap to mobile, you see it's not working. And the reason why it's not working is because I'll show you what the problem is. Because e page x, you see, if we are on the desktop, this has value. If we are on mobile, oh whoops, Why does this have value? Oh, because I'm using a mouse event, right? But bottom line, you see it's not working because interesting, it's registering the value where you're clicking. Which probably means yeah. Hold on a sec. I'm just thinking. Maybe I don't even need this then. Well, let's see. Let's see. Hold on a sec. So touch events. So mouse down is equivalent to I think it's I have them in here. It's like touch start. Yeah, so it's on touch start equals E handle mouse down E. But wait. Okay, so potentially we might actually not even need this. But okay, anyway. Let me just show you how to do it, and then maybe I modify at the end. Let me just make a note to modify at the end. I think we don't need this event here. On touch start equals remove. Okay, so you will see that this value is undefined inside of. So the first one is, now the reason why it's defined first time and second undefined is because first one the click triggers and then the touch triggers. And when touch triggers, you cannot see it, right? You just cannot see it. And the way to overcome it, well, what's the best way to show you? Probably the best way would be like this. Console log E page X. Let's remove this then. So you will see now that the value is undefined, basically, you see? When you click, it's just undefined. Because the way to overcome it is you need to, in here you need to put touches. It's an array. You want the first one, and then page X. Well, I'll show you where. You see, when you click, there's the array. And inside of this array, on index 0, we have the page X. You can use client X in here as well, but this guy is using page X, so I just use page X as well. Whoopsie. Okay, so you see, we're gonna go 0 dot page X. So now it's going to be defined, right? So now you see it's capturing correctly. Okay. And since we want to reuse handle mouse down, we're gonna create conditional statement in here. So if page x equals undefined, then we're gonna do what was it? Touches 0, else we're gonna do standard. Right, so this checks, right? So when client clicks, if it's undefined, we're in mobile mode. And in mobile mode, we need this touches thingy in here. If it's not undefined, then it's normal mode, which is desktop. So it uses this, right? Okay, so next event will be, what else did he put? On touch end equals, whoopsie. So we don't need touch end, we don't need E in here. So touch end is equivalent to mouse up basically, so we just copy from like this. Then also on touch cancel. I don't think we need it, but I mean he's using it, so let's just put it. So this is set is down to full. So this is equivalent to mouse leave probably, right? And final one is on touch move. So this is equivalent to mouse move event, right? So handle mouse move. So again, we need to create conditional statement to replace this here, right? So we can use a ternary operator, right? So we can use if e page x equals undefined, return one thing, else do the standard one. So in here we need to put touches 0 like this. And this should fix the mobile problem. Let's see. So that's our responsive. And let's do some zoom. Yeah, okay, so it moves. Yeah, so it's moving. Is there a bigger screen? Oh man, how do people even use those? Okay, so this is basically done. This is your tutorial. So now I suspect we don't need this event here. Because touch start seems to be, click seems to be working. Oh, no, it's not working. Yeah. You need touch start. But hold on a sec, hold on a sec. Now, tutorial is finished, so you can kind of go do your thing. I'm just kind of trying to see if I can remove the touch start code. Because I don't like to have fluff in code, it just drives me crazy, you know. Yeah, so it is triggering. But why it doesn't want to move then? Anyway, I don't want to spend another, because I already spent so much time on this. It's not a big deal, basically. I mean, I can live with one line of code being in it, you know. I can live with that. Doesn't matter. Because, like, again, you see, I don't wanna go into those specific mobile touch events because I'm a desktop kind of front-end developer. Mobile development is something is on my, like, I can create mobile optimized websites, but they are desktop first, if you know what I mean. Right? So, because I don't want to get into this, I'm gonna open another kind of worms. I'm gonna start reading again. And it's gonna take a half a day. I don't want to do it because that's not my priority or specialism, right? Because then you see you can kind of you can nitpick and say, okay, so why is the mouse not changing? You know, why doesn't it become coarser or whatever? Right? And then I'll be sitting here for ages, basically. All right, so that's it. That's the end of the tutorial. Again, like and subscribe. Blah blah blah. YouTube stuff, but it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna monetize my YouTube channel, so it doesn't matter, right? If you like the video, whatever. Like, if you don't, whatever. Right? Okay. This is the code that I used in here, basically, right? You can probably copy and paste it. And now these things here, you see DRR, DBB are my... I'll show you what they are. They are basically... Where are they? Global styles. You see, so I kind of have like borders that I sometimes add to elements so I can see them physically in the screen. So you can... it's easier to work with them. I'm gonna put it into the... where's that thing? I'm gonna put it as a bonus, maybe. Dmitry border styles. Yeah. Another thing, if you want to double the client's move speed, I'm talking about, see the way, like, right now it's every pixel he moves, your hand moves, right, and here. But let's say we want to double, so for every 1 pixel that client moves, the thing moves 2 pixels, right? So that's the way Johnny done it in here, right? So if you see, I'll show you where is it? Yeah, you see, so he multiplied mouse moved by 2. So this gives you a slightly different effect. So I'll show you. So what he did was he put this thing here into, whoopsie, into brackets like this. Son of a... and then multiplied by 2. Okay, so what that does is you'll see now it's a lot quicker, you see? Because for 1 pixel of client movement, we have double... honestly, I'll just put it as 4, so you'll see it's gonna go crazy. But you get the idea, like for 1 pixel of mouse move of client, we get 4 pixels movement in the slider or carousel, whatever you want to call it. Kind of like a multiplier, but I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna use it. Maybe someday I will, but not right now. Okay, dogs. That's it. Take care. Bye bye.